Welcome back to Anderson Acres. We're in the kitchen again. Today we're going to be making sour bread. No, not sourdough. Sourdough takes a week and a half at least to make a good one. Today we're going to make a cheap approximation. It's not going to have the fullness of flavor, the depth of flavor that a real sourdough will have, but in a pinch, it is what it is. It is tasty. I will say that. It is tasty. So we're going to mix the dough in our bread maker because I feel like it. Real sourdough, you're not going to use a bread maker. It takes a long time, a lot of turning, a lot of kneading. You don't do it in a bread maker. Sour bread, however, you absolutely can do in a bread maker. So we're going to start with half a cup of water. We don't need as much water because we're going to be using a whack ton of sour cream. In fact, here is our half a cup of sour cream. It's half a cup. Nice full half a cup. Get as much out of there as you can. Yeah, use your finger. Not a big deal. We like using our finger. You can always clean your hands after all. Not a big deal. So we also want about a tablespoon of vinegar. This is vinegar, white vinegar, just in my squeeze bottle. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon. That's about what that is. We want about a quarter teaspoon of ground ginger. So, yeah, approximate, good enough. Go over or under on the ginger, it's not that big a deal. It's just for flavor. You want about half a tablespoon of regular sugar. You want a teaspoon of salt. I'm using Himalayan. You can use whatever you have. Now this is the only ingredient you might not have in your cupboard. This is wheat germ. Okay? This is a tablespoon of wheat germ. This does enhance the flavor of your sour bread. So we're going to do a tablespoon of wheat germ in there. Now we're going to do 3 cups of just white flour. Just don't want to spill so much, so I use my hand. There we go. Just white flour. And a heaping teaspoon, I'm using bread machine yeast. Use traditional yeast if you're mixing it by hand. That's all for your ingredients. It's actually a pretty simple, straightforward dough. Obviously, the wheat germ may not be in your cupboard. Maybe you don't have ginger. You probably have sour cream. So, pretty simple recipe. You can approximate a sourdough. Not going to take the place of the real thing. But it's good enough. So we're going to stick this in the bread maker and come back after the breads first rise. All right, so our dough is finished rising. After it's mixed, it was rising for about an hour. It rises pretty well, so you tend to not have to give this dough extra time. The sour cream and the vinegar and everything does make it rise quite well. So I'm just rolling up some flour that I spilled earlier. There we go. So what you're going to want to do now is roll this into almost a baguette, about 14 inches long. If you don't have a mat with inches, you can just guesstimate. It's not really that big a deal. You can make a thicker one, but I kind of like my sour bread to be a little bit longer and skinnier. So you just roll it out, pinch it up close together. Okay, and it should smell sour. Remember, you have sour cream and vinegar in here. It should smell a little bit sour. So I'm actually using the circle on my mat. Even though it's a 12-inch circle, if I go a little bit over it, it's a 14-inch loaf. So about 14 inches is about right. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my sheet. So I'm just going to place this on my sheet. We're going to give it probably about 45 minutes to rise. This actually rises quite well. Okay, this dough does not require a lot of extra time. I know we've been doing things like rise and whole wheats and even ciabatta. Those take longer. This will rise fairly quick. So cover it with a damp tea towel, or like me, just pop it in the microwave and ignore it for 45 minutes. And it should have about doubled in size, or almost doubled in size. So we'll come back in about 45 minutes and check on it. All right, so our sour bread has risen up nicely. It has about doubled in size in the last 45 minutes. Now we want to coat it with an egg white wash. This is just an egg white with a tablespoon of water. Mix it up together with your basting brush. Just give it a nice whisk here. You can use a whisk, but I don't need to dirty another dish, so I'm just mixing it with my basting brush. You want to take that egg wash, egg whitewash. You can use a full egg wash if you want and whisk a yolk into there, but I use my egg yolks for a lot of other things. So I always have egg whites kicking around. So give that a nice brush. Don't miss any spots. It'll help it really glisten if you make sure to coat every little bit of it. Okay, so you don't want to miss any spots. Nice and covered. Okay, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good to me. All right, the next thing we're going to do, what is that? Oh, that's nothing, never mind. Was that something? No, never mind, it's fine. Sometimes I think I see something, but it's just actually a scratch on my glasses. Anyway, so this is our loaf. No, sorry. I need to clean my glasses. Anyway, now we're going to sprinkle poppy seed. You don't have to do poppy seed. I happen to be in a poppy seed mood this week, so we're doing poppy seed. You could do sesame seed, or you could just leave it with just the egg wash. It's totally fine either way, but I like the way this looks, and I like the way they taste, and I like the texture. So we're doing poppy seed. You can do either a teaspoon or a tablespoon of poppy seed, whichever strikes your fancy. I'm doing about a teaspoon, just because I'm not going to go as crazy with this one as I did with another one that I did recently. Just, I'm in that mood. Now we're going to take our bread lane. We're going to do about 5 slashes, and we're going to go deep enough that the bread will split open, not so deep that we actually cause a problem. So a little bit more than a 1/4 inch deep. Just going to pull, drag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason we do that after we do the washing is so that the egg wash isn't actually down in your gaps. It helps give you a nice color contrast. So this is going to go in the oven at 375 degrees for about 25 minutes. After that, it should be a nice golden brown. If it needs 5 extra minutes, give it 5 extra minutes. You want it to be golden. You don't want it to be too white. So we will come back in about 25 minutes and see how it's doing. Well, there you have it. This is our easy sour bread. It looks fantastic and it smells even better. I know you can't smell it, but I can. It's going to be delicious. I know it's kind of cheating and it's not real sourdough, but in a pinch it's good enough, and you'll be pleased with the results anyway. I will make a real sourdough, but it does take a week and a half. So we'll get there. We're just not there right now. Anyway, thank you for joining us today as we made our easy sour bread. If you'd like to see some more of our videos, please like and subscribe so that we can keep baking for you. See you tomorrow.